Donna Duffy there. I'm joined from Canberra by two people of whom we'll be seeing quite a bit during the campaign. The spokespeople for each side. For the Coalition, Senator Matthias Cormann, and for Labor, Senator Penny Wong. Thank you very much, Senators, to both of you for being with us.
Good to be with you.
The election's being framed as a fight between growth versus fairness, the Coalition versus Labor. Let me see if we can tip that on its head a little bit, starting with you first, Penny Wong. Without referring to the Coalition, can you explain for us how the policies of your side promote economic growth?
Well, I don't think you have a plan for jobs and growth if you don't have a plan to properly fund schools, universities, your education system. And I think if you look at the OECD data that shows the sort of benefit to growth and from growth jobs that you get from properly investing in your education system, I think it is undeniable that that is all about growth. Add to that, of course, our plans when it comes to infrastructure, our plans when it comes to renewable energy, all about the jobs of the future. I don't think the government can say to people, we've got a plan for jobs and growth, if they haven't got a plan to properly fund schools.
Senator Cormann, to you, again, without referring to Labor, I noticed Senator Wong did sneak in a quick reference to the government there.
Right at the end.
Without referring to Labor, can you explain where in your party's policies is your commitment to a fair go for all Australians?
Our plans are all about a fair go. Our plans for jobs and growth will help ensure that people across Australia have job security, have the best possible opportunity to get ahead. Whether it is our innovation and science program to support startups, whether it is our defence industry plan to support local high-end manufacturing, whether it is our export trade deals to help our businesses be more successful in overseas markets, whether it's our tax cuts for small and medium-sized business and for hard-working families. All of it is geared to help give all Australians a better opportunity to get ahead. When we came into government, we inherited a weakening economy, rising unemployment, and a budget position that was deteriorating. Today, the economy is growing at 3%, stronger than when we came into government, stronger than any of the G7 economies. The employment growth is strong, which is helping Australians to have a fair go, with an unemployment rate of 5.7%, well below what was anticipated when we came into government. And our budget position is more sustainable, which helps ensure that we can afford and guarantee the funding for health, education, roads and so on that the federal government needs to continue to provide on a sustainable basis.
So given that you've both there made a very sound case for why, each side's delivering for growth and fairness, why then does the election get reduced to this thing that it's between, only one side has growth and only one side has fairness? And do you think that voters really buy that it's that binary, Senator Wong?
No, I don't actually. I agree with you. I think fairness and growth go hand in hand. And I think you can see the evidence of that in terms of some of the economic debate around rising inequality and how that affects growth. I don't think, that's why I said, I don't think you have a plan for growth or a plan for a fairer Australia if you're not investing in schools. I don't think you have a plan for growth and fairness if you're taking money out of Medicare, if you're cutting money from hospitals. I mean, I don't think it is a good thing for equality nor for the health of the economy for us to be loading up onto working people a GP tax by stealth, more PBS co-payments and a tax on Medicare, as well as cuts to our schools. These are not good things.
Senator Cormann, let me ask you to respond to that, and can you also give some context? Do you think that voters buy that it's such a binary choice between what the Coalition and Labor are offering?
Well, in this election, it is a binary choice. Labor doesn't have a plan for jobs and growth. Labor has a plan for higher taxes, which will hurt jobs and growth, which will damage the economy, and which will hurt the job creation. Now, when it comes to the budget position, the government has focused on controlling expenditure. The government
You've tripled the deficit.
Well, and that is just not true. That is just not true.
It is true, actually. Demonstrably true.
I let you have a go. I'll let you have a go, Penny.
That's
so maybe,
true.
maybe,
But I think these facts are important.
Senator Cormann.
Maybe I can. There was much of what Penny said in her remarks that was wrong. We are increasing funding for schools. We are increasing funding for hospitals. $2.9 billion in additional funding for hospitals in this most recent budget. But it is funded from savings in other parts of the budget. It is paid for. Labor. There's nothing fair about making promises that you cannot deliver on. There's nothing fair about about borrowing from our children and grandchildren to pay for things today. And there's nothing fair about pushing up taxes by $100 billion over the next decade when that is going to reduce the opportunity for people to get ahead, when that is going to make it harder for us to transition our economy from resource investment-driven growth to broader drivers of growth in a new, strong and diversified economy.
Let me ask you each about something.
Can I just respond to one thing?
Just briefly, because I want to move on.
Very briefly, there is nothing fair about a tax cut for our high-income earners. There is nothing fair about saying to Australians, I can't find the money to fund our schools properly, but I will give a $50 billion tax cut to big business.
Senator Cormann, brief response to that.
Our 10-year enterprise tax plan is obviously an investment in jobs and growth. A more competitive enterprise tax rate helps to attract investment, helps boost productivity, helps to increase the size of the economy permanently by 1%, helps to increase the number of jobs, helps to increase real wages over time.
All right, let's
and
move on.
over time helps to increase revenue for government so that we can afford
I'd like to move on to a couple
That's
of
just
other
voodoo
issues.
economics.
I'd like to move on to a couple of issues before we're out of time. Senator Wong, the Labor candidate for Melbourne, Sophie Ismail, says she has concerns about some aspects of the government's asylum seeker policy. Can you clarify for us, is Labor's policy on asylum seekers who come to Australia via boat exactly the same as the current government policy?
Well, look, we went through a long and difficult debate on this matter. I think many of you might have watched it, the national conference, and people had different views, but everyone proceeded on the same basis, which is we wanted to first do our part in terms of the need to take a greater number of asylum seekers, but we also wanted to ensure that we prevented the deaths that we have so tragically seen over the years as a result of people smuggling.
Policy?
So we have been clear
Only
that we
before
would.
the election.
Well, come on. I mean, let's not. This is such a difficult issue, Matthias, and we shouldn't be using the desperation of asylum seekers to play politics.
But just yes or no,
we have been clear that we would include turnbacks as one of a suite of policies to ensure that the people smuggling trade was not restarted. We've been clear about that.
Let me come to you, Senator Cormann. We're about to run out of time. Just on a different issue, a Reserve Bank document released under Freedom of Information laws this afternoon contradicts the Prime Minister's claim that Labor's negative gearing changes will smash the property market. The memo says the only issue would be if the changes were not grandfathered, which they are. So therefore, does that resolve any of your concerns about Labor's negative gearing policy?
It doesn't say any such thing. It's an entirely unremarkable internal document. Incidentally, not an official document
You're the
of
finance
the Reserve
minister.
Bank. Penny, I mean, honestly, I'm answering Lee's question.
Sorry, Senator Cormann, please finish.
Sure.
Thank you very much. It doesn't say any such thing. It is an internal briefing note about how negative gearing operates. It outlines a series of historical perspectives. It precedes the release of Labor's policy. It doesn't address Labor's policy at all.
But it does say any change which discourages negative gearing may be a good thing from a financial stability perspective.
Maybe, and it obviously, I mean, if you look at the most recent official statement from the Reserve Bank Governor, you will see that one of the reasons why he felt comfortable to reduce the official cash rate in his most recent update is because of developments in the property market and because of the effect that tougher lending standards from APRA have had on the housing market. I mean, this is an old document. It's an internal document. It is a document that outlines historical perspectives. It's not an official position of the RBA, and it shouldn't be misrepresented that way.
Okay. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Many more issues to discuss, of course, and hopefully we'll see you again during the course of the campaign. Senator Cormann, Senator Wong, thank you very much.
Thank you.